So you're hiring. A warehouse manager, for instance. Did you think about a mom ready to rejoin the workforce? Maybe you need a UX designer. Was an older person who you imagined. Perhaps you need a concierge. Have you considered someone pursuing their passion? They may not be from your industry, but with the right skills and training, they can become valuable additions to your company. So what can you do now? Widen your perspective, widen your talent pool.
Hello, welcome to So What, a panel discussion about getting your business shipshape, brought to you by Workforce Singapore. My name is Yasminne, I'm your host and moderator. So the last couple of years have been eye-opening in many ways. I think we can all agree, right? The labour landscape is rapidly evolving. Now, how can we take advantage of boosts in recovery and safeguard against economic headwinds? What steps could you take to strengthen your organization for the challenges ahead? And how do we navigate the constantly evolving business landscape? Now, here to widen our perspectives, we have some wonderful guests. Let me introduce you to them. We've got Mr. Tommy Phun, founder of Pyxis and director of I.F.F.I Shipping. We also have Mr. Nelson Lim, Chief Executive of TranZplus Engineering and Chairman of Indoor Farm Factory Innovation, or I.F.F.I. And we have Mr. Anderson Yee, Director of the Manufacturing Division for Workforce Singapore. A very, very warm welcome, gentlemen. Now, before we dive in, let us get to know you a little bit better. Maybe tell us more about yourself. Let's do, so what do you do? Let's start with Tommy. So what do you do?
Yasminne, yeah. So my name is Tommy. So currently I wear two hats.
Hey, where are your two hats? Okay, you didn't break that. Okay, yes, tell me.
Okay, so firstly, as the director of I.F.F.I Shipping, so I.F.F.I Shipping, we are a Singapore-based maritime services company where we own a fleet of 70 vessels from tugs, ferries, workboat, based out of our shipyard in Penjuru Lane. So you have family or friends who are serving their national service in Pulau Tekong, then you've probably been aboard one of our ferries, which is a long-term charter to the Singapore Army. Secondly, I'm also the founder of Pyxis. Pyxis is a first of its kind maritime electric vessel technology company, and we are all about shaping a sustainable, greener future for generations to come. So we do this through mass adoption of electrified coastal vessels, the Tesla of the sea.
Wow, I think a big round of applause. Okay, Nelson, so what do you do?
I'm Nelson, I'm from TranZplus Engineering. So what TranZplus do is actually we are a factory automation service provider, solution provider. So I started the business as a distributor, and then I evolved to be a precision engineering and then into a system integration. TranZplus is a bricks and mortar business. So I started to look into this sunrise industry. So we venture into vertical indoor farming. With I.F.F.I stands for Indoor Farm Factory Innovation. So I.F.F.I is actually an agri-tech company. It operates and engineered vertical indoor farms. So providing all the solutions for all the indoor farming. Yeah, that's what we do.
Well, a very warm welcome to you, Nelson. And now Anderson, so what do you do? Tell us.
Right. Hi, I'm Anderson from Workforce Singapore, generally from the industry division. So I covers manufacturing sector as well as connectivity sector. Connectivity being the air transport, sea transport, and logistics. So I cover this wide sector. What we do, we go and engage our companies, our sector stakeholders, and to proliferate good hiring practices and to address their manpower challenges. And in recent weeks, we are also involved in this so what, right? Basically is to share the list of intervention that we have to help companies mitigate these manpower challenges in the future.
All right, so if you are in this industry that we're talking about, Anderson is your go-to guy, okay? You see him on the road, you go to him and you ask him questions, okay? But okay, I'm going to pose a little challenge for you three gentlemen. I've got some props around. We have a life buoy, we have an oar, and we have an anchor. Now, out of this three, pick one to describe your business processes or your leadership style. Okay, unfortunately, you're going to have to go first. Tommy, which one would you pick? The anchor, the oar, or the lifebuoy?
So for me, I think I will choose the oar.
Oh.
Yeah, so back in, I think, ancient days, so wooden ships are propelled by rows of men lining the side, pushing the boat forward through wooden oars.
True.
So to me, I think the oar represents teamwork. So when I first joined the family business many years ago, I had to work with colleagues which are all a lot older than me. They spent decades out at sea, working on board ships, working in the shipyard. So I remember my early days was spent dressed in my full overall PPE, working alongside them, climbing into hot tanks, finding our ways around engine room. So that helped to build trust, which developed into a strong sense of cohesion, which defines my team today.
So teamwork is a big thing for you. And I love that you didn't start out just going into air conditioning and just like, oh, I'm the boss. You actually went down to get to know everyone as well. I love it, I love it. Okay, Nelson, which one? Are you going to pick the oar as well? Lifebuoy, anchor?
Yeah, I would pick the anchor.
Okay.
Because on the ship, I think there's a lot of sailing. You need to stop. You need to make decision. So when you stop or pause for that moment, you need to have the anchor to hold on and then assure everybody to make the correct decision before we move on to the next journey. So to me, I would choose the anchor.
You also look very, like you're the anchor man as well.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Anderson, which one would you pick?
Since the two gentlemen, one is going forward, right?
Really? You're going to pick
one
this?
is anchoring, right? Then for me,
You can still pick the other two, no?
I mean, with their analogy, I thought, as a public service, right, I will choose the lifebuoy,
Okay.
right? Because basically we are here. The lifebuoy is here to support, whether you're going forward or whether you're anchoring. And if used correctly, the lifebuoy can be a tool, that saves your business or to help your business go forward. Yeah. So the lifebuoy.
Lifebuoy, I love it. Okay, so now let's do a little retrospective. So what was 2022 like for all of you? How was the business landscape in 21, coming out of 21, going into 22? Let's start with Tommy. How was it like? I can imagine 21 was not good.
Yeah, so I think 21 was really tough. So I think we are right in the middle of COVID. So many companies, ours included, we had a sharp decline in our revenue. Then in 2022, that's where businesses all started to return back to normalcy, restarted their operations. But a lot of them, such as ours, we struggled with rising operating costs, massive supply chain disruptions as well due to global issues. It was tough, but we were very happy to have put through it successfully.
How about you, Nelson?
It's a very dynamic 2021 because things are changing so fast. So it's like changing and then adapting and then change again, then adapt again. So I learned from this that we need to adapt fast and need to change fast and then constantly improve ourselves. So that's what I feel for 2021 and 2022.
I think looking back at the past few years, the one thing that rings very true, this phrase that has been around for a while, is that the only constant is change, right?
Correct.
Anderson?
Right. For me, 2021 and even before 2021, it was really a period of saving jobs. COVID hit sectors. We went in to help expand the job scope, redeploy them to growth areas. So it's all about saving jobs. And in 2022, it's just the opposite. The unemployment rate is at 1.9%, and there's it's a job seekers market, right? So companies are actually looking for warm bodies, for talents, but it was really a very, very tight job market situation. So from 2021 to 2022, I must say it's a roller coaster ride. It's very different.
Okay, so what was the one lesson that you learned in 21 that you applied in 22? Tommy, what was the one lesson 21 that you put in place for 22?
So I think for us, we learned that the goal is refined in the highest of heat. So COVID brought about many obstacles, many challenges, but we persevered through it and it taught us many valuable lessons. For us, it was 3 R's. Firstly, being ready to cope with any challenges that will come. Secondly, being responsive being able to adapt very quickly to changing circumstances, and lastly, being resilient, having the grit to tide through any obstacles or any setback. So for us, what we took over to the next year was the attribute of being responsive. It's so important for companies to be nimble so that we can pivot very quickly and very rapidly to changing market needs and requirements.
I like that, but I'm going to pose this question to you. You said one of the R's was ready. You know, it's easy to say, oh, be ready for something, but how does one actually be ready, for example, COVID? I mean, I don't think in anybody's mind would have expected this pandemic to come out in 2020. Would anybody have thought of this? What do you mean by be ready?
I think for us, being ready is the mindset. Being able to cope and being ready to have the mindset that anything can go, anything can happen very, very quickly, to be steadfast to encounter it. So for example, as a company, we have weekly meetings once a week. Before COVID, during the weekly meeting, we can plan what goes on 6 months later, 1 year later, 5 years later. But in COVID, things were changing so quickly. Just our business continuity plan, we had like 20 revisions of it.
Wow.
So having the mindset and the emotional strength to cope with any quick challenges that comes along the way.
I agree, because you know, very often the mind is such a powerful tool. If you are prepared for it, then everything seems easier. But if you are set in a mindset of no, this is just the be all and this is how it's going to happen and there's no way nothing else can happen, then it's very hard when it doesn't happen. You're like, what happened? So it's really all about mindset, isn't it? Okay, so we talked about what you did learn. Let's talk about what you didn't learn. So in 2022, what would you have done differently? Let's go with Nelson.
2022, like I said, I've been trying to adapt. You know, I spend a lot of my time with my C-suite guys, you know, so we have strategy, things that we want to do. So I spend a lot of time with my C-suite guys. But coming back, I think 2023, I will want to spend more time with my staff, right? They have good ideas, they're the ones that's hands-on, they can give better suggestions, while strategically I will work with the C-suite guys. So that is the one thing that I didn't do in 2022, but I promise you I'll do it in 2023.
Which comes from the man on the ground. That could be a very different perspective than a C-suite person.
Yes.
I support you!
Thank you.
Whatever you're saying really rings
Yeah.
in my heart. I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
Anderson, what will you do differently looking at, you know, your lessons from 22?
I think 2022, we can do a bit faster. You know, we can reach out to the sector faster using our partners, stakeholders, multipliers, so that you know, there are companies that will say, look, I need help. Where are they now? And how can I respond quicker to them, right? So this is something that I learned from 2021, 22, and I will do it in 2023.
Yes! Gambate! And finally, Tommy, tell us the lesson. Tell us, what would you do differently?
For me, I think we would have spent a lot more time and resources creating a more robust talent pipeline. Be it reskilling our existing employees or to look for fresh hires from beyond maritime, bring them into maritime, bring them into our company so that we can build a stronger team to bring the company forward.
So it's about manpower for you.
Manpower.
And you know what? On that note, let's talk about manpower. So, what about manpower? Coming from a perspective of the employer, maybe you guys can share with us, what are your expectations when it comes to hiring and managing manpower? Let's go with Nelson.
I think for myself, I've managed my expectation on the new manpower that I'm going to bring in, because it is the company's expectation. If we can manage our expectation, we can bring in anyone, right? But if we put our expectation too high, and then you want to have a new guys coming in on board that is totally off our track, it's going to be challenging. So first of all, what we do is we manage our expectation for new employees that's coming over. We manage our expectation, we manage their expectation, and then from there, it will be a smooth sail.
Basically, set the people that you're going to be hiring up for success.
Right.
Yeah. Tommy.
For me and my team, I think our expectation when it comes to hiring manpower is to really actively look for potential employees that are willing to learn, unlearn, and to relearn. And the reason why this is so important to us is because I'm in an industry, maritime, that is changing, and the pace of this change is only set to increase further. So we need to find people that are very comfortable with change, having a very positive mindset towards it. They don't fear it, they embrace it. And with this kind of mindset towards change, they're able to ride with our company forward in this whole new wave of digital and sustainable transformation.
Attitude is everything.
Yeah, it is.
So, Anderson, coming from the perspective of WSG, what advice would you give the companies when it comes to them managing their expectations when it comes to manpower?
Actually, I'm very heartened by these two gentlemen, right? They really speak my mind, right?
Applause!
So I think firstly for employers, you can look at the kind of skill set, portable skill set, transferable skill set from their wherever the sector they come from, right? With that in mind, actually you can look up if this person is of certain good attitude, right? So attitude, portable skill set, transferable skill set is very important. To widen your talent pool, give a chance, right, to meet careerists, gentlemen, right? The job seekers will bring along with them maturity, they'll bring along with them management skill set that can definitely value add your organization.
Now, maybe more on the practical side, what are some of the WSG programs that can help employers?
Of course, I'm not going to bore you all with all the acronyms. I think we are guilty of it, right? But I'm just going to tell you from a very layman perspective. Both companies, or even the companies now watching, right? You are undergoing transformation. Right? Transformation is always about, hey, what is it for my business? If there's nothing for your business, don't bother. Right? Of course, there must be an end goal. And what happens is, if you're thinking of a new technology that's available from outside, not in Singapore, hey, talk to us. We can tell you what are the schemes we have to transfer capability from the foreigners to you, to your local workforce, so that you don't need them and you can proliferate this skill set in your company. Right? Secondly, with this new skill set, you look at, hey, my job has already changed. To keep the existing workforce, upskill them, and give them a better title, better designation, so that you can keep them with you, and also to entice Singaporean to join you, right? And we have a scheme called Career Conversion Program to help you. Now, with the new title, new job, then you say, hey, look, I need new people, fresh blood to join my company. And of course, the same Career Conversion Program can help you to take that risk. The person that don't have this skill set will share risk with you to bring them on board, to join your company. So we have a whole suite from end to end, from transformation to job redesign, and we are here to help you, just like a lifeboat.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so I understand Nelson and Tommy, both your companies, you have adopted some of the WSG programs. Maybe share with us, what programs did you guys adopt? Nelson?
I adopted the conversion program. So initially I wanted to look for a sales staff. So I got a staff came in, he was a Grab driver. So initially I thought that, well, it was a nice thing because being a Grab driver is able to, he's attending to many people.
Yeah.
Right? I think the adaptability is going to be so nice and so good for him. Right? So we bring him in. But as he move on, he's facing a little bit of challenge because seems like talking might not be his game.
Really?
Yeah. So
Grab driver I thought. Oh,
yeah,
I thought
so too. I thought so too.
Okay.
So but we understand him. So instead, we redesigned the job for him to be a trainer and then to be a robot specialist. So right now, he conducted robot courses, training to many engineers. We upskill him, to all the courses. Right now, he's a certified trainer. And then he's also guiding all my engineers, my young engineers, on the robotic collaborative robots, things like that.
Wow.
So very interesting.
Wow,
really.
That is so inspiring. So for anybody who says you cannot teach an old dog new tricks, that is just nonsense. It's nonsense, right? Because it's really mindset and desire too, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Tommy, share with us, which program from WSG did you guys adopt?
So for us, we actually made use of the Career Conversion Program for sea transport professionals, where we did job reskilling and upgrading. So through this program, we actually identified 5 existing employees from our company of different ages. We put them through the program, for example, equipping an existing operation executive, tons and tons of manual paperwork. We equip him with digital skills, transform and open up his job scope. So now he's able to manage our vessel very effectively, remotely, even through his handphone. response was really positive. One of the 5 was even featured by Lian He Chafao for his efforts in his transformation.
Wow. So let's say, I like that, maybe a person could do a job 100%, but now with changes in environment and what the company needs, a person now maybe can do 75% of the job, but you have equipped this person to now be able to do a new job 100% all the way, which is awesome. But from what I'm hearing is both your companies actually adopted NPPWs. So NPPWs is non-plug and play workers. For the benefit of everybody watching, hello, that means a person is not 100% fit for that specific job or role. For example, maybe the person has the necessary skill sets, but maybe not the knowledge or experience. Right? So both of you, in a sense, Tommy, your company did this internally, and Nelson, you guys did this externally by hiring somebody else in. Right. So how was that whole experience like, Tommy?
So I think the experience was very, very positive. So in our context, like what you mentioned, it was more internal facing where we identify 5 existing employees and we expanded and changed their job scope. So the 5 of them adapted to these changes at different places. Some are a bit faster, some was a bit slower. But the objective when we started on this was to make sure that everyone continues and completes the program successfully. So it was very positive. And what we find helped us a lot was peer support. As management, we try to create a very conducive environment, but what really helped these 5 guys through was the support from their fellow team members, encouraging them, being patient with them, helping to teach them, and finally, successfully completing that transition.
Oh, I love this. But I'm very curious. So you guys identified the 5 individuals, right? But was there a case where you identified some individuals, but they were very reticent to be part of this, which means mindset already not there to upskill, to relearn or unlearn certain things? Was that there for you?
So for us, I think it's very important to have very open and transparent feedback with the employees together with the employer so that the expectation is aligned.
Yep.
So, and this is something that the employee themselves needs to do. I mean, they themselves have the interest to do.
Yep.
That's part of their career roadmap. So the moment there's alignment, then the program happens very, very quickly, very successfully.
Yep, so it's not just the company's interest, but it's also in your interest, right? I love that. Nelson, how was the experience for you?
The experience is exciting and busy.
I love it.
First of all, you get someone in, it's really exciting. You try to, job redesign for him. Busy because you need to know him before you can fully, totally embark him onto that journey. So bringing him in, getting to know him, convincing him, I bring the guys in as a sales.
Yeah.
And then we've realized that he got another talent. So he's able to manage. I think he's a little bit excited about some digitalization, some robotic things. And then we tell him to go for the robot course. But he's so reluctant. He said, no, I'm already in my 50s. That's not a game. But we proved the other way. We motivated him, we talked to him, give him a little bit of robots to play with, and then he get very, very excited.
Yeah.
And then we make him so addictive to it. He keep playing and playing, and then there's no turning back. So now I don't have to motivate him. He's self-motivated. It just go.
Yeah.
And then also changes his mindset because he never thought he would be a trainer. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just thinking that I just play with the robots. So right now he's changing his mindset. He's leading the team. He's guiding everyone.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very exciting and it's really busy. You really need to get yourself involved. See?
Yeah.
There's a lot of involvement to be in.
So I just want to say, Nelson, you are so inspiring because you come from the mindset of bringing somebody sort of new in, and yet I would assume that most companies might be, it's a bit risky, like maybe I should just be, more on the straight and narrow and do the normal thing, but you didn't. But yet what you're saying is it's kind of exciting for the company as well. It's like new relationships all the time.
Exactly.
It's like new girlfriends or boyfriends all the time.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Correct.
It can be fun. It rejuvenates your interest in what you do as well. I love it. So Anderson, what can businesses do to be better prepared for manpower issues? Because we're always going to have manpower issues here in Singapore.
For the advice to businesses is really be bold in your transformation. While doing so, have an end outcomes in mind. How does this business transformation can help in terms of business benefit, of course, right? And secondly is, how can you create new jobs, new roles, so that these two working in tandem will better optimize your business transformation. And to address the risks aspect, right, I also want to share with the audience here, the employers, right, you may be thinking, right, hey, I get this not 100% match individual, it's a risk for my company. And that's where WSG comes in, right? We are here to tell you, hey, look, if you take this person in, we will share risk with you. How? Through the career conversion program, we actually fund up to 90% of your salary during that period. So this is our way to tell the company, be bold, transformation, bring the person in, and I'm with you.
Now, if you're just joining us, a very, very warm welcome. And if you have any burning questions, don't keep it in. Don't keep it to yourself. Drop them in the comment section. At the end of everything, we'll have a Q&A session and we'll try our very best to get to them. So, gentlemen, we did a little survey and a lot of employers wrote in about their concerns, about scenarios. So we're going to do this and set up a scenario and hopefully you'll give your perspective on it. So we're going to do, so what advice would you give? Are you ready? Okay. So the first one is all about retention. It becomes frustrating when you spend time, effort and money to upskill people, then they leave after 1 or 2 months. What can I do? Nelson, I see the yes.
Okay, the first thing is I feel is manage your expectation as the owner or the employers. You need to manage your expectation. People stay in a company for a reason. People leave for another reason. So it's important to know the employees, what is in their mind, to the best of your knowledge. Some stays because of, for the family, monetary, money. Some stays for career. Some stays for passion. Some stays for friendship. So if you can identify what they want to work with you within the company, I think that makes sense. But if they go away, there is something that you can learn, something that you can find out what went wrong, and then from there you can improve your company so that the next time around, when you bring someone in, it can be better off, right? So it is a good thing that happened. So things happen for a reason, right? People stay for good, people also leave for some reason. Maybe the reason for them leaving, it could be due to that there's some things that we can improve within the company. There's something lagging.
I like that. There's always a lesson to be learned. Okay, Tommy.
So for us, what we try to do to manage this problem in our companies is to try to create a very strong culture. So basically to give employees a sense of identity working for the company. Even simple things like once a week, we have a combined meeting across the different functional groups, all the way from our admin to our HR, to our technical, to our shipyard. We gather everybody together so that everybody knows what the different departments are doing. And after that, we try to organize a lunch, just a simple casual lunch. Through doing small things like that, we try to build a very cohesive culture that gives people more reason to stay longer in the company.
So focus on the people element. Yeah, Anderson.
I can be very candid. If you have this problem, I think it's a good problem to have because some companies don't even have people to join them, right? So if let's say you do have this kind of issues facing you, I think what Tommy and Nelson did is correct. It's all about creating that workplace that the individual will stay with, right? And in our term, it's called progressive human capital practices, right? As your wage is only a hygiene factor. Then you take a look at your overall culture and how you create that kind of appreciation for your staff, how you map out a career development plan for them so they got something to look forward to. And of course, it's not just about wages, right? If you can put all this in mind, I'll be very, very honest with you that for you to keep the individual, probably you stand a good chance, right?
All right, okay, now we've got our next scenario. It's all about low appeal. So it's tough appealing to Singaporeans. So it is always a challenge to replace staff. How do I overcome this obstacle? Tommy.
So for us, in our experience, what really helped to appeal to Singaporeans, to give them a very good and robust career roadmap. So there's something for them to look forward to, like what was shared earlier. So the Singaporeans, when they join us, we sit down with them, have a very open, candid conversation. Where do they see themselves 1 year later, 5 years later, and we help them to develop a roadmap. And if they want to develop in a particular field, then we help to give them the resources it takes for them to get there. So once both the employee and the employer have a certain expectation that's aligned, and that we find helps us to keep and retain our Singaporeans in the company.
Nelson.
For me, appealing is actually making people look at you in a very different manner. I'm in engineering. Everybody thinks of engineering is oily, dirty,
Really?
messy, right? So the guy is muscular, sweating, right? But on the other hand, we make engineering sexy.
Ooh.
So as example, we make it very lean, very clean, simple. So we have people coming in, hey, you don't look like an engineering company. Right, so to make it appealing, Singaporeans, right? We are Singaporeans, so most of the time you doesn't want to go into a heavy, oily place, right? To attract new young people coming in, so we make it a more energetic place for people to work, so you feel happy. You know, the moment you step in, wow, this whole thing is black. My company is black, everything is black. Famous for that. People say I'm crazy, but yeah, just make it sexy. Yeah, like a hip, you come in, wow. Really, this is engineering?
Wow. Okay, Nelson.
So that's what I do. Yeah.
Nelson, I need to come and visit you in your hospital.
Yeah, it's
in your company, Ken. Anderson.
I think on top of what Nelson and Tommy mentioned, right, at the very end, it's really the job itself, right? How do you appeal to Singaporean? Actually, businesses are right smack in the middle. They are quite poor thing. Why? Because they think that foreign workers will come back. But truth be told, some foreign workers don't even want to come back, right, to Singapore. Even if they do, right, the cost of having them is equally expensive now, right, if you factor everything. So the best bet for Singapore companies is really, is this the job you think can bring in Singaporeans? If not, work with us. Let us know your plans, right? We can help you to redesign your job, to make it a bit more enticing, sexy, right, hippie, for the Singaporean workforce. And perhaps that could be a primary strategy for companies to do it.
Yeah. And even for employees as well, I think as people wanting to be hired, maybe a mindset shift as well. You never know till you explore, and you don't have to take it on, but if you don't explore, you never know, right? So I think it's a balance on both sides, yeah? Okay, our next scenario is about talent demands. It's an employee's market. They demand shorter work hours and flexible work arrangements. But the nature of my business doesn't allow it. What else can I try? Maybe let's start with Anderson.
Okay, not an easy question to answer, but I can share with you an example, right? Most of the time, it's whether the employers are, again, bold enough to redesign the job. One of these service maintenance company that we work with, right? They actually provide services, technical services to big MNC. They are currently very traditional. They'll come into the office, they take all the work schedule, and then they are lost for the rest of the day. Right? At the end of the day, then they clock back again. So the Tauke, right, was asking, hey Anderson, how can I make them more motivated? Because sometimes I want them to shift from one core business to go and address another business. They will tell you, no, I'm here, no. But he knows, the Tauke knows, he's not there anymore, right?
Oh.
It's just like, okay, he's probably networking with the customer, etc.
Okay.
So what happened is the compensation and the job need to change. So what do I mean by saying? So he look at redesign the job to make them like a partner, right? They used to have a monthly pay, but now it's a monthly pay plus incentive. So the more they go on to service, the more they can earn.
So they have to have a stake in it.
That's right. And the employees now also feel that, hey, I'm flexible. If I can go and finish my base work, but if there is any family commitment, yeah, they can do so, right? But if, let's say, they don't have, and there are new calls or new urgent servicing or maintenance to be done, troubleshooting to be done, they can go on to do that, right? In order to do this, right, the company need to digitalize. So they also have like a platform where they can identify, these are Internet of Things. They can also look at their machines in the customer place, as and when it's amber, they can go and service first, and things like that. So by doing all this transformation, the company now have employees that's pretty happy, I hope, right? And also the boss also happy. So they know exactly where are the staff, what are they doing, and then the capacity are optimized. Yeah, so this something that I can share.
For me, it's not about the long hours that you do. I can understand in production, sometimes you need the hands to keep working on in order to churn up the parts. But you can look into it and then redesign how, make it more lean. I realize in my production operation, a lot of the time, my operator starts looking for things. They do one process, they look for a screwdriver. They spend another 3 minutes looking for screwdrivers and then another 3 minutes coming back. So all these are time wasted.
Yeah.
So if we redesign the processes and see the gap, reduce all these tools to put near to them, they can be very efficient and can produce more. So it's about redesigning the scope of work, how the process flow, making things easier for them, then they will feel happy. They produce more.
Yeah, and of course you have to go down to that very, layman level, the ground level to figure out what is it you're doing.
That's why I say just now I want to spend more time with my guys, right?
Exactly.
Rather than the C-suite guys.
Exactly. Okay, Tommy, how would you address this scenario?
So for us, we will try to address this scenario using digitalization to transform the work scope. So for example, we operate ferries, say 200-seater ferries. Previously, what our ground operators have to do, whenever passengers board the ferry, take a piece of paper and then they write down all their particulars manually. You can imagine how much time that will take, consolidate it at the end of the day. So much time, really labor intensive.
Wow, yeah.
So what we do is to make use of technology, we automate these processes now. For example, we install facial scanners on board the ferry, so when passengers come on board, immediately we recognize their information, and that is all tabulated to a digital passenger manifest. So that cuts a lot of time and effort. All of the low-hanging fruits we can solve using this and make the job more attractive, job redesign.
I like that. Okay, final scenario. This is with regards to NPPW. It says, I'm thinking of hiring someone with no experience in the industry, but I'm still on the fence about it. What's your advice? Okay, Nelson.
Straight away go for it. But before that, please massage yourself, right? To get some preparation on the expectation. But don't hesitate. I think that's a good choice. I did it not once, not twice, I think many times. The successful rate is high, so you should go for it.
The outcome definitely
is very, very over.
Outweigh the risks.
Yes, I agree to that. Totally.
Tommy.
Likewise, I agree that that's something we should do because this brings about diversity to the company. So for example, for us, we are operating in maritime. So some time ago, we employed an employee from oil and gas. So he is in a very different field. He does design, fabrication of oil well equipment. So we brought him to the company and the results were very positive. Yes, we were still facing the same issue, but having someone from beyond our sector look at the same problem from a very different lens, it leads to a lot of positive outcome. So it builds very strong strategic competencies for the company.
Yeah, so different perspectives are always welcome, right? Okay, Anderson, what is your take on this?
Go with it. All for it. Just jump inside. I'm the life boy. I'm here for you.
Okay, so we've looked at the past, we've looked at scenarios, we've looked at the manpower issue. Let's take a look at 2023 this year. What is your outlook? Okay, so gentlemen, what is the topmost issue that impacts your sector and business? Because I'm sure there'll be many. What is the topmost issue that you feel would be impacting your business this year? Let's go with Tommy.
I think these are all really strong issues that impact our business, but if I were to pick one, I would choose weakening global demand. So for my sector, maritime is changing and evolving. So a lot of my traditional products, services and offering, a lot of my clients are starting to pivot away. They want something a lot cleaner, a lot greener, something that's more environmentally sustainable. So that means that as a company, we need to pivot to these changes, otherwise you risk becoming irrelevant.
Okay, Nelson.
For me, it's manpower. It's about people. You have a good business, you don't have a good people, your business will go the other way around. But on the other hand, if you don't have a good business, but you got good people, the people will then turn the business around. So manpower is extremely important to me, I feel. So deploying the right people, giving the right people the right position to bring themselves up, I think manpower is one of the most important thing to me for this current moment here.
Anderson.
Well, I mean, for me, I do agree. All five is actually quite quite impactful, right? Although COVID-19, we can see that now we are into the doors gone green, so it's a little bit elevated now. Weakening global demand, I hope, right, with the opening up of China, supply chain lockdown could be a bit smoother, so I'm quite hopeful, right? Manpower, he mentioned already, right? Geopolitical tension, I think that businesses will come to an equilibrium, right? And how to manage that kind of tension going forward. So being more grounded, I feel inflation could be something that in the short term, businesses will need to address, whether is it the ops, the cost of running the ops, or even borrowing, and the time to repay your loans, right? So these are pretty much at hand, very important. But again, I would just like to stress, even you face with all this, WSG and the whole of government will be here to support, right? Share with us your plans so that we can come in to guide you and journey with you.
Remember, Anderson and WSG is your life, boy. I love it. Okay, so now we know what you think out of all this is the top issue that could be, that could impact your business. What's your plan to face this challenge, Tommy?
I think for us is to be very nimble and quick to pivot towards new changes. So in our industry, the drive towards sustainability, to have green services, that means that as a company, we need to keep innovating, we need to keep pushing ourselves forward, leveraging on new technologies, for example, retrofitting our vessel, which is currently diesel, to become fully electric, making use of data to better understand how to deploy our vessels so we become more productive. And that is our plan to face these challenges.
And how about you, Nelson?
For me, it's about productivity and making it lean, making things easy, able to produce more, using less to have more. So productivity is one of the things that I would be looking at. Getting the right people in. I might not need a lot of people, I might need a lot of people. So it's about productivity, bringing up the productivity, making it sustainable.
All right, and now looking ahead for 2023, what is your hope, your wish for your business, all businesses in general, Tommy?
I think for my wish and my hope is that businesses become bold, become courageous, willing to take risks to stretch our boundaries so that we grow not only in Singapore but internationally.
Stability, right? For job stabilities and creation of everybody to have job, to move in, so to make it productive, make business boom again. Yeah, that is what
Anderson.
I hope that businesses do embark on this journey and we stand ready to support anytime.
Always reach out to them because you never know how they can help to work with you as well. Thank you very much, Anderson. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So I guess in short, be bold, Singapore, be bold. Now, coming up in just a bit, we have a Q&A session. So if you have any burning questions, please don't keep it in. Drop them in the comments section. We'll try to get to them. I can't promise you we can answer all of them, but we will try. We're going to take a short break, but in the meantime, hang on, and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to So What, a panel discussion getting your business shipshape. And now we have a live Q&A session. So if you have any burning questions, don't keep it inside you, okay? Just share with us in the comment section. We promise we'll try our very best to get to them. All right, gentlemen, you ready? First question, let's take a look. Are they willing to, this is from Ben, and this is, are they willing to take a mid-career shift with no experience to their industry? Let's go with Nelson.
They as in who?
As in you as an employer.
Right, just kidding. So I think generally is as the owner of the company, I think I'm very open to it. You know, they bring in new ideas, they bring in new people coming in without new experience, without the current experiences that they need to have. They come in with new ideas, and then it's also about managing ourselves, the expectation. We bring them there, bring them in, and then just allow them for a period of time to settle down. While in the meantime, get a mentor to mentor them together as like a partner, so they will catch up very fast. Just don't have over expectation. You know, just go slow and steady. With sufficient experiences that the new stuff coming in, they will gain the traction, and then after that they will scale up very fast.
I think that's what Tommy was sharing earlier on. It brings diversity and a new energy, and because they are doing a mid-career switch as well, you bring a whole world of experience that maybe it may seem not quite applicable, but you never know, right? Tom, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree, Dale. I think that's something that we have been doing on a consistent basis. We have tried it before and we will continue to do it. Because from our experience, bringing people from a whole different industry, like what you were sharing about earlier, Yasminne, brings about a lot new skill sets, a lot more diversity. They look at the same problem from a very different perspective, and in our experience, it worked really well for what we have been doing.
So do it! Because that's what the employers are saying, that they absolutely embrace this. Let's go to our next question and see who we have. This is from Kevin, who says, how do you deal with an aging workforce? Maybe let's go to Anderson. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I think we will still very much look at job redesign. Right? The aging workforce, they have all the tacit knowledge, skill set, experiences. It's how you're able to use digital and technology to bring that out. The kind of work that they do may not be the same like they used to, and how company can work with them, work with stakeholders to look, I want to redesign this job. Is there a way to make them extend their career life and yet be productive to the company? So job redesign is the key.
Right. And age is not a limit. It shouldn't be a limit, right? Nelson, Tommy, any of you have anything to add to this?
So maybe for us, I thought it was quite something. We have actually have an example. So we have this captain with us in the company. He was a captain for many years, almost 20 years. He started in his 30s and then all the way almost to his 50s. So as he matured, so we started to value his experience, the many years he has working on board a vessel, his familiarity with the Singapore port. Things like that can never be replaced. It's invaluable domain knowledge. True. So after that, then we took him we changed his position and we put him to a shore executive, so office-based work. So it's a bit older now, he's more mature, so you no longer have to go on board the vessel every day to climb up and down. He's based in the office where now he makes use of his experience to plan for the maintenance of the fleet, the operation of the fleet, and even mentor the younger ones that are joining our company.
Right, because once upon a time he was there doing everything, so there's nobody better than him to actually tell you what needs to be done and what best way to do it, right? I love that. Okay, let's go to our next question. Once again, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section. This is from Widad, who says, this is definitely for Anderson. What kind of subsidies are available for employers who sign up for the WSG programs? I think there's a lot of them.
Right. I'm not here to sell schemes, right? But we would love to hear from the businesses, the transformation plan, etc. So that's where we come in and value add, right? Because if I just share with you, say for example, career conversion program is one of our mainstay, right? It's supposed to fund company on the salary support, right? So we fund up to 90% based on certain criteria. However, if you can share with me what exactly you want to do with your businesses, right? Then I can also introduce you some other schemes. For instance, I mentioned earlier, right? If you have niche skill set that you want to import from your partners, your stakeholders, and to proliferate here to the Singapore workforce, I have a scheme to help you to do so. So likely it's like the cost of travel, the cost of the consulting that the foreign expert comes in, and then how the training can cascade to the local workforce. All these bits and pieces, we have subsidy for you, right? Then how you can also bundle with this new skill set that transform the job. That's where our career conversion program will come in as well. So we will look at it from end to end. Don't be so worried about what kind of schemes we have, what kind of subsidy first. Understand your business transformation, how you augment to the job redesign. I'm here to help you. I'm a life boy, you know.
Oh, I love that. And it's true because each company would be different and your needs and what you aim to achieve would be very different as well. So there's no point saying, oh, there's this scheme, because you can actually work and make it flexible so that it aids the company as well. Look for Anderson. Okay, our next question, and let's take a look. And this is from Jia Yi. Hi, Jia Yi. Jia Yi says, are qualifications the only thing employers look for when candidates apply for a job? Okay, I think let's go with Tommy.
So for us, we're always on the lookout for potential employees, applicants. First and foremost, people with very positive attitude, very receptive towards change. And the reason for that is because in our sector, things are moving so quickly. The whole drive towards sustainability, digitalization. That means how we're running our company today is going to be a very different place 6 months down the road, 1 year down the road. So it's important to look for people with positive attributes, mindset towards change, maybe with some examples of track records of how these individual has gone through changes in the person's career before. So paper qualifications and certifications are not the only thing that we look out for.
Right.
More of the attitude and the mindset.
So you would say attitude and mindset trumps qualifications?
Yeah, we would think so, at least based on our experience.
All right, Nelson?
For me, usually I'm not highly educated, that's first thing. Right? So I don't go for the paper qualification. So usually when the resume comes in, the first thing I will see is the working experience, how many years he or she has been working with the current company or ex-company. Then from there I will assess. The next one, then I will go into education or qualification. From the qualification, I also will identify when did they take the course based on their age, right? They could have taken the course at an older age. That means they are very positive mindset people. They want to upgrade themselves. So these are the candidates that usually we will target on, you know. So on the people that is very forward-looking, moving forward. So that to me, qualification is just one part of it, but it's not the total part of it.
It's not the be-all, end-all, huh?
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, next question. Anderson, you got anything to add to that?
Maybe I
he sounds
just
like he does.
want to add on, right? Hearing from the employer side of the story, if there are any individual, right, looking at going into the growth sector, one way is after understanding where the employers come from, if you have a qualification and experience, try to relate those experiences to the business. How you think you can value add the business. That will help the businesses to look at you more positively instead of traditionally we will just have a resume. This is my resume. You make up what you want, right? And hope for the best. But really, it's for the individual. Now employees are open, but they have stacks of resume. How can you customize your own and fit what you think the business is looking for?
Because more often than not, skill sets are transferable, right? The knowledge can be learned, but the skill sets are there. And you may just have the skill sets already. Let's go to our next question. And this is from, I hope I don't butcher your name, Ivins, I hope. It says, hi, may I ask what are the speaker's recruitment priorities for 2023? The priorities when you want to hire somebody. Let's go with Nelson.
I think the priority depends on very much on the business model that you have. So because I have an engineering company and also I have an indoor farming. So currently my farm is looking for a lot of people. We need people to come in. So to be an agriculturalist, to be a researcher, even be a high-tech farmers. So the most recent that yesterday we have one more than 60 years old just joined us, right? So he retires, and then he was part-time our promoters, and then we talked to him. So he's coming in. He will head our corporate sales, right? So he is very jovial. He likes to talk. He likes to meet with people. I think he's going to bring a lot of energy to the company. Back at about 3 weeks ago or even a month ago, we got a relief teacher in his middle age 40s, mid 40s. So he came in, he joined us as the second operation GM. Because as a teacher, I think he's able to teach. Operation itself is not just about executing the job. It's about teaching the people, get them educated. So the other guys came in about 3 to 4 weeks ago. So I think that's what I feel.
So I think maybe Nelson, what you're trying to say is that your priority would be finding the right skill set, not necessarily the experience, because you're telling me relief teacher now being second GM, right? The skill sets that would fit that role.
Correct, because he's able to teach and then he can guide.
Skill sets. Okay, Tommy, what are your priorities when it comes to recruiting in 2023?
So for us, I think our recruitment priority is to be a very robust talent pipeline. So there's actually two parts to it. One is to hire new people from outside the company to join us, and the other is to really to upskill and to reskill existing employees within the company. So we need both buckets in order for a company to continue to grow forward. So in terms of recruiting the right people, so I think like what Nelson has mentioned, it got to do with where is the company heading towards. So for us, it's the drive towards sustainability, transformation. So we are looking for people that are able to bring in this kind of skill set, and many of them will come from beyond maritime. And even then, say if you go into the space of sustainability, to have people with the knowledge of, say, carbon credits, carbon trading, it's very difficult to find people like that. So then it's about identifying the right people who are willing to learn, and then we put them through courses so they can upskill and so they can bring new skill sets for us and to allow our company to grow forward in this direction.
Anderson, do you have anything to add to that from what you've been speaking to employers?
Very, very happy that these two progressive employers are really giving a chance, looking out for mid-careerists to join them, how they build themselves up to make sure they can come in and internalize the process and be productive. And again, we are here to support, and like what I mentioned just now, how we share risks with companies so that you are willing to make that bold move.
Anderson is the life boy. And you know, this whole mid-career switch, I think is quite exciting as well. Because when you are young, you just graduate out of the university, you think you want to do something, then you do it for many years, and then you feel like this is not really something that I want to do, but then you feel like kind of stuck. But nowadays, with support from WSG, with employers like Nelson and Tommy, you have a chance to start something new. It's like restarting all over again, but with the skill sets, with experience. That's pretty exciting. I'm excited now as well, Maybe I need to know. Maybe. Let's go to our next question. Let's see, who do we have? And we have Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us. And Sarah says, do you have problems with cultural integration from non-plug and play workers hired into the organization and existing staff? So cultural integration. And how do you counter that if you do? Let's start with Tommy. Do you have a problem with the cultural integration?
I think I wouldn't say it's a problem, but maybe a bit of a challenge to overcome. This happens not all the time, but sometimes when we bring in people from a different sector and if we bring them to our company, sometimes the lifestyle might be a bit different, the work environment is a bit different, the kind of people they work with are also a bit different. So it's very important for us to try to cultivate a very strong, cohesive culture within the company. So where we have buddy system, so we always assign someone in the company to be paired up, to be buddied with this new entrant to the company, to the industry. So at least it helps the person to understand what are the nuances in the industry, to help the person to understand the bigger reason why things are done in a certain way, and that helps us to slowly overcome any friction that might happen.
Even simple things like lingo, right? In different industries, there'll be different lingo. Then you'll be like, I don't understand. And sometimes you don't want to sound stupid saying you don't understand. So when you have the buddy system, it would help because then you just ask somebody who's like your mentor. Nelson?
For me, the culture thing is everywhere you go, you will experience new things. So every new things that you experience, you need to adapt to it. So what we do is when the new guys coming in that definitely have a culture different, so we spend time talking to them. We spend time explaining to them. We spend the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks explaining to them what we do, and then also ask them what they do in their ex-company. And then from there, we try to come into a common understanding, and then we synchronize everything together. It takes a while, but certainly it will be up. So you just need to spend more time talking to them when they first came in, interact with them, communicate with them. So let them know our culture. they will let us know their former culture and then how can we coexist together, and then we change the culture, and then they will adapt progressively and move in. Just need to interact with them, communicate with them more often for the first 2 to 3 weeks.
Anderson, do you have any advice for employers dealing with this, or even for people out there who are going to be making a career switch in this cultural integration issue?
Based on our experience sensing on the ground, mainly the cultural differences is the result of, say for example, an MNC employee going to a SME, right? So the cultural differences, MNC, you are very focused, very niche, very narrow. You do whatever that's deep in that field, right? SME, I would say that you need to know a little bit about everything, right? You need to have the breadth, and yet you are employed for the depth. So what I would suggest, right? Employers follow what Tommy and Nelson's best practices, right? Be open, communicate, share expectation, and align. Give them some time, right? For job seekers, right, it's about thinking positively, right? Don't treat this like, I do everything, right? But rather, I learn everything. Because whatever you learn, that breadth can go a long way. You wouldn't know, a lot of businesses started because they follow a tauke. Not that I'm asking people to run, right? But it's like they learn more, and in their experience, they can value add more. And that's where they find their worth, their value, and they stay. So both sides have to have the right attitude and the right alignment. Then business can grow.
Right, I like that. Don't see it as I'm doing more, see it as I'm learning more, I'm given the opportunity to learn more, and therefore finding another skill set that you may not have had before. That's brilliant. Let's go to our next question. This is from Yen Yi. Hi Yen Yi. And Yen Yi says, do the programs work for those looking for a job as well? If they don't, are there any? This is, I think, targeted at Anderson.
Right. So if you are actively looking for a job, right, I think as a start, there are many skills future career programs out there, right? Go and get yourself acquainted, get yourself upskilled in your time, at your own time now, right? Meanwhile, go and check out what kind of job or sector you are interested in, right? We have close to 100 career conversion programs managed by different program partners, right? So if you are keen, let's say for example, to join manufacturing sector, then I have program partners like Specta, I got program partner like Singapore Business Federation, and you can say, oh, so I understand this is the sector, this is the kind of work I want to do, right? I4.0, solving problems, being an engineer, or sometimes even go into the area of firmware, coding, etc. Yeah, then you apply through the program partner. They will help you to source for employer to interview you, and if the match happens, right, then you'll be part of the career conversion program with the company. Has a full-time staff. Yeah.
Right. So it's not just for employers, but it's also for people looking for a job as well.
That's right.
That's what Workforce Singapore is here to help you. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for our Q&A. Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you took away something that is positive, that's going to help you push you along in your business journey. Thank you once again, and we would love to hear your feedback. Now, at the end of the session, there's going to be a QR code. Just scan it, or there's also a link in the comment section. Just click on the link and share with us. We want to hear what you think, what parts of this panel discussion that you enjoyed, and what we can do better as well. We would love to hear from you. So thank you once again to gentlemen, to Tommy, Nelson, and Anderson. Thank you so much for taking the time to joining us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Big round of applause. Yay! We're clapping for ourselves. Thank you as all for joining us. And my name is Yasminne. Here's to ensuring and getting your business shipshape for 2023. All the best.